Good morning, everyone. We need to remember to take a deep breath and remember that peace begins with me. Rise and shine. Here we go.
We're here to educate and empower patients to make choices that are best for them. We're also here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high. Hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing. The Green Nurse is a holistic cannabis nurse that teaches on the endocannabinoid system and the safe utilization of cannabis and other progressive tools to help people reach a better quality of life.
I was cannabis agnostic for many, many years. And the more research I did, the more I discovered that cannabis is this amazing medicine.
I was told that I had a 4-stage pancreatic cancer. The doctor really told me he couldn't do anything else. He gave me her name and she called me and she came to my house. She started to give me cannabis. My oncologist was puzzled because he couldn't find the cancer anymore.
All of the learning that we get comes from the Green Nurses group, comes from their support, comes from their guidance. I trust everything that she says.
Simply meet people where they're at. The plant doesn't, stress to grow, so we don't stress to share it. We're healing people.
Cannabis has been used as a medicine for tens upon thousands of years. Here's the big message. Cannabis needs to be federally legal. We need to have laws that are the same across all 50 states that allow access to anyone and everyone who wants to utilize this powerful medicine.
I love that. Growing in health and growing in cannabis.
Yeah.
Right. So, welcome everybody to the Green Nurse podcast, where we do bring you hope and inspiration for growth and healing. You're all so important that we're showing up here every single morning through Mercury retrograde and all. Do you bring? That's for you,
Big
Denise.
time.
Right? Yeah, right. So, here we are. We're going to be giving you some hugs and nugs. It's Wellness Wednesday. We're going to be talking about spiritual principles. We're going to be talking about some of what Carey Lee has up her sleeve. We've been really focusing on energized living, actually soul thrive, and the daily 5 to thrive. And so I'm really, really excited to have my girl from Iowa here in the house, Green Nurse Iowa, Carey Lee Lore. So Carey Lee, for the new viewers, a lot of people are just tuning in for the first time. Why don't you say hello? Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me, Sherri, as always. Such a pleasure. My name is Carey Lee Lure. I'm a registered nurse here in Iowa. I'm a cannabis nurse that connects patients to Iowa's medical program. I teach about the endocannabinoid system, how to choose products in a safe way and use them effectively. I'm also a nursing supervisor and nurse mentor within the holistic caring community as a green nurse. I'm a certified ketamine nurse guide for Keta MD, run my own consulting firm, Soul Thrive, and I am a cannabis stigma fighter, especially for mental health patients like myself. You can use the plant with proper education, monitoring, and follow-up. So thank you for having me, Nurse Sherri. Love educating alongside of you. All the time.
You. And I just want to I want to focus on, I just really loved what you said. I'm a stigma fighter, right?
Yeah.
So when we talk about a stigma fighter, what does stigma stem from?
Fear.
It stems from, right? Yes, it steers from fear. Totally false evidence appearing real from propaganda, from reefer madness. You can be stigmatized for multiple different reasons. But the bottom line, it is fear, and it's lack of understanding, lack of compassion, lack of empathy, and lack of emotional intelligence. There, I said it. and then you think about too, how, we show up in the world and, we have those polarities, good, bad, black, white, love, hate, all of these different things. And it can very similar to hold this whole stigma. And then the polarity and the cognitive dissonance of having knowledge, research, information, anecdotal evidence, you have this, and then people not feeling it because of what they've been told in the past, right?
Mhm.
So it's really, really about looking at our belief systems, that biopsychosocial, spiritual aspects of healing, and just to ask some questions. If I am so against plant medicine, if I am so against cannabis, you really need to stop and think, why? What have you been taught? What have you learned? So I
Exactly.
really, really love, Carrie Lee, that we are decreasing stigma and we're doing things, right? That basically a lot of people wouldn't feel comfortable doing on media. We're sharing aspects of ourselves because we want to decrease that stigma. We want people to understand it's okay to feel good. It's okay to use cannabis, and it's okay to use it with a preferred method of administration that works for you. It all works, but the goal is to find out what works for you. And one of the things that I felt really compelled about doing too, and so you, Carrie Lee, is decreasing stigma around inhalation.
Yes,
Right? That's a big one. That's a big
it
one.
is.
My mom's like this. Oh, I don't want to see you. I
Ah!
don't want to see you inhaling. And I'm like, Mom, it's durable medical equipment. And she goes, What do you mean? She goes, That joint's a wrapper. I said, You know what? Here it is. You call it a wrapper. I call it durable medical equipment to help me get the plant into my body.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's just a rephrasing.
Yeah.
So here we are, Wednesday. Happy Hempy Hump Day. And we do start off with lots of love because we do love you. And Carrie Lee, what do you got up your sleeve today, my girl? What do you got for
Well,
woo?
you
What do
know
you got
what?
for woo?
Let's just pull the cards. I'm a
Let's
card
pull a
freak.
card.
I love these cards. This
Me
isn't an
too.
oracle deck or a tarot deck. This is a deck by Dr. Orloff. It's the power of surrender. So it pretty much, I use it as a tool, a health tool, to
Mhm.
help reprogram my subconscious mind, specifically negative core beliefs. And I really like to try to put a kibosh to negative toxic rumination. So these cards really help. Just do it.
Can I tell you,
uh,
I love that.
Yeah,
Negative, toxic rumination. So think
yeah,
about that. Stuff that doesn't feel good, stuff that's going to cause you mental, emotional, spiritual harm, right? And then, ooh, there we go.
that one
Here we
flew
go.
out. Let me get that
Yeah.
one.
And when you can reprogram your mind, you look at things differently. Change the way you look at the world, and the world you look at changes. Wayne Dyer. All
Yes.
right. So what do we got in the power deck?
Okay, well, the card that flew out, because that card was meant for all of us, I believe. It's called Surrender Your Fear of Change. Whoa. Yeah. Okay. So the reading is the universe is reminding you that you are cared for always. Whether you're afraid of a change in your job, your health, or a relationship, or if you fear aging or death, repeat the affirmation, I have faith that all is well. I love that. I have faith that all is well.
There you go. And
Lots of
all is
change
well.
going on with this Mercury retrograde as
There
well. It just
is.
makes it a little bit more intense too, doesn't it? Oh my
It
gosh.
does. So here we go. You ready? I have faith for you. I have faith for me. I have faith for we, that all is well.
Yes.
Now, what I'm going to do really quickly is, you always know I'm going to bring cannabis into this
Oh,
discussion.
heck yeah.
All right. So think about this: surrender to your fear of change. Does the cannabis plant fear change? Let's think about it. The cannabis plant is constantly changing and evolving and growing, and it's not fearful, right? So here it is. What would cannabis do in this situation? The cannabis would surrender because the cannabis grows no matter what,
Yeah.
right? It grows, it may grow healthier in some circumstances. Cultivation is different all over the country, all over the world, whether you grow indoor or outdoor, the nutrients, the water, the sunshine, all of that. But it is constantly changing and evolving. And that's the most important thing for us to know. We're
Mhm.
changing and evolving every single day. And even you can even look at it physiologically down to anatomy and physiology with cell replication. Every 7 years, we're completely different people. You
It's
know what I mean?
fascinating.
Yes. And so that is the one thing that we can count on is change, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good. Good
That
stuff.
was a
And
good
here
one.
it is. Yep. It is what it is. There you go. It is
It
what
is.
it is.
It is.
I surrender to the fear of change, false evidence appearing real. I go inwards to change the way I look at the world. And that requires doing the work. And so we're here to do the work with you. So here we go. Back to cannabis.
Absolutely.
I know. Good topic. Good topic.
Good topic for
All
sure.
right. So what do
We
we
have a
got going
lot.
on here
We
today?
we have a lot of people out here. Cher, should we say good morning really quick?
Yes. Let's say hello. Let's say hello. Okay, wait,
Hello,
okay.
hello.
All right.
Let's see.
Comments.
Ooh, good
Gotta
morning,
put my
Eric. Ryan Campbell is here. He's always here for a happy wake and bake. I love that, Brian. Melissa Faulkner.
Oh, Melissa, hello, lovey. We love you. We love you, Melissa. Oh my God, she's amazing. Amazing advocate, activist, caregiver in the community. I love you, sweetheart. Thank you for joining in this morning. We got Brian, we've got Lori, we got Dawn.
Lori.
Dawn. I was
Yeah.
on a treat with I was at a retreat this weekend, such negative self-talk. Interesting. So guess what we have? We have Energized Living Green Nurse Retreats. We had our first one in September. We're actually creating our second one coming up in 2022. I'm actually going this weekend to Green Nurse Denise House in New Hampshire, and we're going to start planning and having that experiential session to bring you guys more retreats. So the retreat piece of it is really, really important. When you go to retreat, it's about reflection. It's about going in and doing different activities to improve your mind, body, and spirit for whatever the retreat offers. And so our retreat, which is cool, is all about cannabis education and experiential learning using different varieties of products, having the actual experience using them, experiencing infused meals with your choice of how much cannabis you want to consume. Like this, it's amazing. People have had really, really good results. It is about upregulating and nourishing our endocannabinoid system. So basically, everything that we do or don't do in our lives affects that most important system. And so on these retreats, we teach that. And like I said, we provide you hugs and nugs. So you can take this information home with you and incorporate it into your life. So I'm really, really excited about this. We're offering retreats for patients, for providers, for caregivers, for people that just want to learn how to have a fun, educational, social, recreational experience. We're teaching it all different ways. So that's the part that's really cool about these. Denise, if you're in the house, say hello. And we
Oh,
have
hello,
some.
Green Nurse Denise.
I know, Green Nurse Denise. Yeah, if you're in the house, she's the one she's our event planner for Green Nurse Retreats, which is great.
Amazing.
All right, so here we go. Thank you guys for joining us this morning. Really, really, really happy to have you. And make sure you share the show, share our YouTube, share the love. Share the love.
Sharing
All
is
right.
caring.
It certainly is. It certainly
Yes.
is. Okay, here we go, Carey Lee. We're going to dive right into it. What are we talking about today? We're talking about anxiety, depression, and exercise, right?
Absolutely.
Here we go.
Absolutely.
Right. What do
So
you got here?
what do I have? Like my daily 5 to thrive. It's just a nice little self-care. It's a reminder of the 5 basic things I need to do
Yes.
every day to stay in the thrive zone. I like to coach people and help them figure out how do we take them from survival zone to the thrive zone. And so that daily 5 to thrive came about for my own mental health journey as a patient. I'm one of those that has treatment resistant depression. So psychiatric medications do not work for me. The side effects from them actually caused more harm than the depression itself. So it really lit a fire under my ass to really start looking and researching and finding other ways. There had to be other ways, other things I could do besides the pharmaceuticals, to really get myself back into balance, right? Those 5 things just happen to also nourish and support the endocannabinoid system. So, some of those things would be sleep hygiene, plant-based nutrition and hydration, moving your ass every day, which we're gonna spotlight just now, and then mindfulness and spirituality. And then every day getting outside in Mother Nature, getting that sunshine, vitamin D supplementation, light therapy, whatever. So, today is really about exercise. And
Yep.
believe it or not, exercise is not just about improving your physicality. Of course, it's definitely a perk and a benefit, but it's very, very helpful for mental health. So
Absolutely.
it's a passion. Absolutely.
Well, when we talk about the endocannabinoid system, right, we talk about how everything that we do or don't do, excuse me, affects that very important system. So just think about this: exercise. When we think about our umbrella, and I should have a bigger picture of the umbrella, the
Yeah.
endocannabinoid system is the largest neuroregulatory system in our body. We have an endocannabinoid system not because of the cannabis plant, but because we create components in our body like the plant. And the goal of cannabinoid therapeutics is to help our body to start producing more of its own internal endogenous cannabinoids. And if we can't produce enough of our own, this is where supplementation, using variety of cannabinoids in different multiple formats, getting it into our system to provide those cannabinoids that we're not able to make on our own. And then you have other activities such as exercise, which we're going to get into today, that also affects our entire umbrella. So imagine the umbrella is you. All the different spokes of the umbrella are your different organ systems: respiratory, cardiovascular, mucoskeletal, reproductive, genitourinary, integumentary, central nervous system, immune system. So these spokes of the umbrella encompass your entire body. The fabric pieces of the umbrella are those neurotransmitter signaling systems that give messages to tell your body to either do something or not do something. And then we have at the tippy top of the umbrella, the endocannabinoid system that blankets on top of our entire umbrella, because we have cannabinoid receptors on all of the cell surfaces of our systems and at the neurotransmitter signaling junction sites. So go back to the umbrella, go back to all of the spokes of the umbrella, right? How exercise affects every single physiological process in our body, right? Think about that. And it helps us to create our own internal endogenous cannabinoids. So let's get into this, Carey Lee. I love this. You got
I
some
think,
really cool, some research here.
yeah, I mean, exercise, I'd like to say, first of all, exercise was one of the first. It's just like discovering, I don't know. It's like right now, like just I had a skating injury the other day, and I haven't been able to go full on my exercise regimen in the last 2 days, and I'm literally climbing the walls because it's a release. It's not just for the physical, it's for my mental. I have all this excess energy, all this excess stuff going on in my mind. And sometimes exercise, depending upon what type you're doing, kind of creates a meditative state and kind of helps you get into this zone, right?
Right.
So I found this little blurb back in 2006. A review was published in the Journal of Psychiatry and Neuroscience. They found evidence that exercise works similarly to antidepressants, alleviating major depressive disorder by promoting the growth of new neurons in the brain. And isn't that fascinating how it always boils down to the creation of new neural pathways? You know what I mean? So that's I'm a brain science nerd in that retrospect. So
Carey Lee, that's really cool. So here I want you all to imagine, right? When you're moving your body, when you go on your walk, when you're doing that stretch, in your physicality, imagine that you're exercising your brain cells as well. Your little dendrites are going to come out and going to start connecting, right, in different ways. And that
yeah.
connection, increasing neuroplasticity and increasing neurogenesis, creating new brain cells. Wow. What
It's
I mean,
huge.
it is it's huge. It allows you to look at things from different perspectives, process emotion from a different perspective, and helps to decrease that trauma response for
And
sure, because you're moving energy.
yeah, and something that I stumbled across, and I'm really, really excited as a cannabis nurse, an article from Mayo Clinic stated that exercise helps us combat anxiety and depression. Here's where I got excited. By releasing the feel-good endorphins, natural cannabis-like brain chemicals called endogenous cannabinoids and other natural brain chemicals that can enhance your sense of well-being. I mean, just the fact that the Mayo Clinic is acknowledging
I
the
know, just the mere fact.
endocannabinoids, I
Yeah.
am really excited about that, because that is something like at the end of that workout sesh when you're feeling that we call it the runner's high. For me, I call it being blissed out. That feeling, and you're just like, it's just like bathing your entire being. You just have this really awesome sense of well-being, and I don't know. I love it. I
I
just
hear you.
love it. I really do.
Yeah.
So,
And
you
so
know, oh, go ahead.
go ahead. And the other thing too, when we talk about, just so people that are new and that are watching for the first time, internal endogenous cannabinoids we make upon demand. So, and this was the shoe drop for me when when I first started learning. I was like, oh, I never knew this. So the plant makes the THC molecule, and we make molecule anandamine and 2-AG. The anandamine and the THC molecule have a very, very similar molecular structure, and they plug into these cannabinoid receptors that give messages. So it's like a telephone system. Do this, do that. It's an on-off switch. And THC, plant makes, phytocannabinoids, anandamine and 2-AG, we make those internal endogenous cannabinoids, and we want to have them flowing through our system to keep us running like a well-oiled machine. So
Yes.
that's really good. I love that. So Mayo Clinic is acknowledging the endocannabinoid system and our own internal endogenous cannabinoids. So
Yeah,
some
I
of the
love
other
that.
things you have listed here too, Carey Lee, is how exercises are thought to reduce depressive symptoms. What do you got here,
Yes.
girl?
So, I mean, like I had just mentioned running, some of the exercises,
Mhm.
specific exercises, and the effects on mental health. Running, that runner's high, that blissed out feeling. I've also read that, the repetition of running creates, a state similar to meditation, which then we all know builds that emotional resiliency, in our mind. So, strength training, this gives us a sense of mastery and control. It's also about making a commitment to yourself
Yeah,
and being consistent in that practice so that you see and feel results, right? So when we
exactly.
keep promises to ourselves, um, I don't know, I think that was just as important, if not more important, than the actual exercise itself.
It is.
Yoga, look at yoga. I mean, wonderful antidepressant effects, improving flexibility, and involving mindfulness, helps you break up those repetitive negative thoughts, makes you aware of your breathing. It kind of helps you really embody,
Yeah,
get into your body and feel comfortable in your body, and
yeah.
that discussion came straight from Dr. Rosenthal, who is literally the father of seasonal affective disorder. He has a
Oh,
fabulous book.
wow.
Yeah, yeah. And some
Yeah,
other,
so his
I mean, really, I guess, there's a ton of different exercises you can look at. I think the most important thing, especially with relation to the endocannabinoid system and just keeping a commitment to yourself, is to explore and find something that you love doing that brings
yeah,
you joy. And here
yes.
is why. If you are doing some type of an exercise and you just think of it as a chore, you're not looking forward to it, you're not enjoying it, your body actually thinks that
Creates
you're having a
hormones.
stress response.
Yes.
And so then your endocannabinoid system is thinking, oh my God, she's stressing out, she's miserable. Let me shoot out all these endogenous cannabinoids to help fix that situation, right? Let's flip that switch, right? But then it depletes itself. So we're in
Yeah.
this
And
vicious
if you're not
cycle
making,
of
and that's the other thing too, is if you're not making enough of your own internal endogenous
right.
cannabinoids, then guess what? They don't get released.
Oh, boom, exactly. And so, and that's where supplementing with cannabinoids, phytocannabinoids really helps pre-workout versus post-workout. I'm a big firm believer of that.
I do
I like to
too.
utilize, I like to
Oh,
utilize a CBD tincture before and after, just to
yep.
help, boost my
Well,
endocannabinoid
here it
system.
is. Well,
So
that's it too. So CBD tincture pre and post workout. So think about this. When we get into physiology, we are creating our own internal endogenous cannabinoids, the bliss molecule, to release the endorphins. So we want to keep our bliss molecule, our own internal endogenous cannabinoids, circulating longer.
yes,
CBD helps keep our own bliss molecule circulating in our system longer, which I just think is so fascinating. And it's
absolutely.
just perfect way to pair it. So here's the thing too, and I'll be honest, when I first started overcoming, that chronic debilitating illness and started healing, the last thing I wanted to do was to get on a mat, was to go work out, was to do
Yeah.
anything. So you just have to start off really simply. I mean, I'm even saying walking around the block.
Boom.
Um, do you know what I
That's
mean?
key.
Very, very simply, taking even 10 minutes, even if you're laying on your bed, stretch out on your bed, doing
Yes.
something different. And cannabis, so this is how I did it because I had agoraphobia. B, I was like, this is the last thing I want to do. I don't want to move. I hurt too much. But cannabis actually decreased the anxiety. Cannabis actually
Exactly.
helped me to get into my body. Cannabis actually pulled me out of the story of sickness, illness, right? And that I can't do and change the dialogue to can't do, can do, right? And that's
Hmm.
for me, that mindset, that mental, emotional, spiritual health with the endocannabinoid system going on and off. My brain's not making enough. And, in my, I'm saying, no, no, no. But cannabis comes in and says, oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
You need to
Yeah.
do this. And guess what? I am your best friend. I am your best friend when it comes to exercise.
Yep.
And the other thing that was really interesting too is there was a study done that basically people that use cannabis every day and exercise 45 minutes longer than those people that don't exercise or that
Oh my
don't consume
God.
cannabis.
I
Sorry.
believe
So
that
you have
1,000%. Mm.
so just
Yep.
imagine you have two people, one's using cannabis every day, one's using no cannabis at all. They're both exercising. The one that uses the cannabis works out longer,
Yeah.
45 minutes longer.
Can I just
So I
say,
think
from my own personal experience, I agree with that 1,000% because you know what? Now, I don't do it all the time, but if I have a little bit of a lighter day before I go out for a skate sesh or a nice long walk, whatever the heck I'm doing, I might take a little microdose of a THC rich,
yeah.
product. And it just really helps open up your mind and like free you from that box of all your to-dos, all your anxieties, all your whatever. And it just really helps you to sink in to that physical movement and really just get into it and enjoy it. That's why
Yeah.
a lot of runners really do like to they like to have a sesh
Mm.
before they go on their run, or guys that are working out in the gym. I used to date a guy and I couldn't believe it. He'd be doing massive bong rips before he went to the gym. And I'm like, how do you do it? How do you stay focused? Well, now I
Right.
understand the science. It makes perfect sense. And,
Makes
yeah,
perfect
it
sense,
really
right?
does. It makes perfect sense. So,
So, bottom line is motion is the lotion. Energize living, exercise, soul thrive, your daily 5 to thrive. And
yes.
today we talked about how exercise can support and nourish the endocannabinoid system and how it is a really, really important tool to utilize if we want to have a well oiled machine. And it
Yeah.
pairs really well. You can use multiple cannabinoids to pair with your exercise regimen, and it's going to help you get through. Right.
And one last thing I just want to throw out there to everybody, because I know that it can be really, really overwhelming to get going. And like Sherri said, keep it
Walk
very,
around the
very
block.
simple. Keep this lighthearted and fun. Make this an exploratory phase, and just trying new things and until you discover what you really like. And keep in mind that it takes 28 days, anywhere from 30 to 90 days to really formulate a consistent habit. So
Yeah.
don't go into this thing putting so much pressure on yourself that it has to be perfect, it has to be this, or that. Just
Yeah.
have fun with it.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. What do we got going on here? Whoop, whoop.
Oh,
Okay, so as you all know, the Green Nurse and Holistic Caring, we partnered, we merged as a company. So we're having a big sale. Actually, Elizabeth is putting us together a sale for all of the programs that are offered at Holistic Caring. So here we go, right here at the bottom. This is to celebrate women. This is to celebrate Women's Health Month. It starts October 1st. You know, there's going to be 25% off all programs. The code to use is women25. And so those are self-paced programs for providers, for nurses, and for patients. And they're really, really good. There's PDFs, PowerPoint presentation, videos. Really love it. However, if you don't want to do that, which is fine, it's for the entire month. We want to invite you into the community. Okay, so the community is really a great place for you all to come for free information. You know, you can come into the community. You're going to get tons of hugs and nugs. A free introductory to cannabis course, free patient portal and support group, a free monthly book club, and you don't even need to own the book, which is really, really great. So this is what we're doing all for you because we love you. We move. All right. And tonight we have a podcast again tonight. Really, really excited for the podcast. Melanie Cross of Crossable Health. She's a nurse practitioner. She is the plant medicine woman. And we're going to not only talk about cannabinoid therapeutics, but we're also going to be talking about one of my other favorite subjects, fungus, the medicinal value of mushrooms. And it's not just going to be magic mushrooms. Trust me, I love my magic mushrooms, but this is going to be all different types of mushrooms, adaptogens, and how it can help support and nourish the endocannabinoid system and what she's doing in the community at Crossable Health. So really, really excited to have her on. And I think that
you do
does
not
it
want to
for
miss
today.
that show because she is super smart, super entertaining. I just love what she brings to the table. She's really is an amazing person.
Really fun, really funny. And so I just want to say another big plug to you, Carey Lee. Thank you for joining me. Carey Lee's been my co-host all week long. I think she's doing an amazing job.
Aww.
And I just think it's fun, you know, especially during Mercury retrograde. You just never know what's going to happen. Right,
girl.
So, here we are.
Yes.
So listen, join us tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and join us tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time. And remember what it's all about, everyone. It's about living your best life and helping others do the same. We love you.